Welcome to Speak English Podcast.
Hey there. Welcome to another episode of Speak English Podcast. I'm David, and I'm here with my amazing co-host, Sarah. Sarah, how are you doing today?
Thanks, David. I'm doing fantastic, and I'm super excited about today's topic. Our listeners are in for something really special that's going to change how they approach English.
Absolutely. Today, we're talking about something that most English learners struggle with but never really address directly. It's the secret behind natural, effortless speaking.
You know what, David? I bet right now someone listening is thinking in their native language and then translating to English. Am I right? If that's you, keep listening.
Here's the thing. What if I told you that you could skip that whole translation process entirely? What if your thoughts could form directly in English, making you sound natural?
That's exactly what we're diving into today. We're going to show you how to think in English and speak naturally. This isn't theory. These are practical steps you can start using immediately.
Before we jump in, if this sounds like something you've been waiting for, hit that like button right now. It helps us reach more English learners just like you who need this breakthrough.
And definitely subscribe, because we're building an amazing community of English learners who support each other. Ring that bell so you never miss our weekly tips and strategies.
So let's start with the foundation of what we're talking about today. When we say thinking in English, we mean your thoughts forming directly in English, without any mental translation happening in the background.
This is completely different from what most people do when they're learning English. Most learners have a thought, then they mentally translate it into English, and then they speak. That's why there are those awkward pauses.
When you think in English, your brain operates like a native speaker's brain does. Ideas, emotions, reactions, and responses all happen directly in English. There's no middleman language doing the translation work for you.
Think about it this way. Right now, as you're listening to us, your brain is processing our words directly. You're not translating what we're saying. You're understanding the meaning straight from the English words we're using.
That same direct processing can happen when you're the one speaking. Instead of creating thoughts in one language and converting them to English, you can train your mind to generate thoughts that are already in English format.
This isn't just about advanced learners either. Even if you're at a beginner or intermediate level, you can start developing this skill. It begins with simple thoughts and gradually expands to more complex ideas and conversations.
The beautiful thing about thinking in English is that it makes your speech more natural and spontaneous. You stop sounding like you're reading from a script because your thoughts are flowing naturally in the target language.
When you master this skill, you'll notice that your confidence increases dramatically. You'll feel more comfortable in conversations because you're not constantly worried about finding the right translation for your thoughts.
Your listening skills improve too, because your brain becomes more comfortable operating in English mode. You start picking up on nuances, emotions, and subtle meanings that you might miss when you're in translation mode.
Most importantly, thinking in English makes the language feel more personal and authentic to you. Instead of English being something you put on like a costume, it becomes a natural part of how you express yourself and experience the world.
Let me show you exactly what the difference looks like in real situations. When someone asks you what you did yesterday, a person who translates might pause, think about their day, then convert those thoughts into English words.
But when you think in English, that same question immediately triggers English thoughts like, yesterday was pretty busy. I had meetings all morning, grabbed lunch with a colleague, and spent the evening watching a great movie at home.
Here's another example. When you're hungry, instead of feeling the sensation and then thinking about how to say it in English, your English-thinking brain automatically generates thoughts like, I'm getting hungry, or I could really use some food.
The key difference is speed and naturalness. When you think in English, Your responses come out more smoothly because there's no translation delay. Your brain isn't doing double work, so your speech flows more naturally and confidently.
Let's talk about emotional responses too. When something surprises you, instead of having an emotional reaction and then figuring out how to express it, you might naturally think, "Wow, I didn't see that coming," or "That's incredible."
Even your internal commentary changes. Instead of narrating your life in one language and then switching to English when you need to speak, you can train yourself to have that internal voice speaking English throughout your day.
When you're making decisions, instead of weighing options in your native language, you can think, "I should probably take the bus today," or "Maybe I'll try that new restaurant for dinner," directly in English without any translation.
Notice how thinking in English also gives you access to more varied expressions. When your brain operates in English, you naturally use different phrases and words rather than always defaulting to the same translated versions.
This variety makes your speech sound more natural and engaging. Native speakers use different expressions for the same ideas, and when you think in English, you start developing that same flexibility and creativity in your language use.
The most beautiful part is that this process becomes automatic over time. Just like you don't consciously think about breathing, thinking in English becomes a natural, effortless part of how your mind works when you practice it consistently.
The benefits of thinking in English are truly life-changing for your language learning journey. First, and most obviously, your speaking speed increases dramatically because you eliminate that mental translation step that slows everything down.
Your confidence skyrockets when you think in English because you feel more connected to the language. You stop feeling like you're pretending or putting on an act when you speak English. It becomes a genuine part of who you are as a person.
Your listening comprehension improves naturally too. When your mind operates in English mode, you catch jokes, cultural references, and subtle meanings that often get lost when you're constantly switching between languages in your head.
You start acquiring new vocabulary organically instead of through forced memorization. When you think in English, you encounter words in natural contexts, which makes them stick better and feel more usable in real conversations.
Your pronunciation and intonation become more natural because you're not fighting against translation patterns. When thoughts form directly in English, your mouth and voice naturally follow English rhythm and flow patterns.
You develop better emotional expression in English. When you think in English, you can express feelings, frustrations, excitement, and humor more authentically because these emotions are connected directly to English words and phrases.
Your creativity in English expands significantly. Instead of being limited to the vocabulary and expressions you can translate, you start generating original thoughts, jokes, and ideas that are uniquely English in their structure and feeling.
You become more comfortable with spontaneous conversations. When someone asks you an unexpected question, you can respond naturally without that awkward pause while your brain scrambles to translate your thoughts into appropriate English words.
Your cultural understanding deepens because thinking in English connects you to the cultural contexts embedded in the language. You start understanding not just what words mean, but how they feel to native speakers.
Perhaps most importantly, you start dreaming in English. When your subconscious mind begins operating in English, you know you've achieved a real breakthrough. Your language learning becomes effortless and automatic, happening even while you sleep.
Step 1 is to start with internal narration throughout your day. As you go about your daily activities, describe what you're doing in English inside your head. Think, "I'm making coffee," or "I'm checking my messages" consistently.
Step 2 involves creating English-only zones in your life. Choose specific times or places where you commit to thinking only in English. Maybe during your morning routine or while you're commuting to work or school each day.
Step 3 is about building direct visual connections. When you see objects or situations, connect them directly to English words without translation. See a car, think car. See rain, think it's raining immediately.
Step 4 focuses on emotional expression in English. When you feel happy, let your mind naturally think, I'm so excited, or this feels amazing. When frustrated, think, this is really annoying, or I'm getting stressed about this.
Step 5 is consuming English content regularly without translation. When you read books, watch movies, or listen to podcasts in English, resist the urge to translate. Let your mind absorb meaning directly from the English words.
Step 6 involves practicing English self-talk during decision-making. When choosing what to eat, think I'm in the mood for something light, or I should probably have something healthy today, rather than translating your preferences.
Step 7 is about expanding your English thinking to planning and organizing. When making your schedule, think, I need to finish this project by tomorrow, or I should call my friend later, directly in English without translation.
Step 8 focuses on English problem solving. When facing challenges, work through solutions in English. Think, maybe I should try a different approach, or what if I tackle this problem from another angle in your mental process?
Step 9 involves English reflection and analysis. At the end of each day, review your experiences in English. Think, today went really well, or I learned something important as you process your daily experiences and lessons.
Step 10 is about patience and consistency. Don't expect overnight results. Some days will feel easier than others. The key is maintaining consistent practice and celebrating small improvements as your English thinking develops naturally over time.
Mistake number 1 is trying to think in complex English from day one. Don't overwhelm yourself with advanced vocabulary or complicated sentence structures. Start with simple thoughts and gradually build complexity as your comfort level increases.
Mistake number 2 is getting frustrated when you catch yourself translating. This is completely normal and expected. Don't beat yourself up about it. Simply acknowledge that it happened and gently redirect your thoughts back to English.
Mistake number 3 is forcing the process too hard. Thinking in English should feel natural and relaxed, not stressful or overwhelming. If you're straining to make every thought happen in English, take a step back and let it develop organically.
Mistake number 4 is avoiding topics you can't express well in English yet. Instead of steering clear of difficult subjects, use them as learning opportunities. If you struggle thinking about work in English, that's exactly what you should practice.
Mistake number 5 is expecting immediate, perfect results. Developing English thinking patterns takes time and patience. Some days will feel better than others, and that's perfectly normal. Trust the process and celebrate small wins along the way.
Mistake number 6 is trying to think about everything in English all at once. This creates mental fatigue and frustration. Instead, gradually expand your English thinking zones as you become more comfortable with the process over time.
Mistake number 7 is focusing too much on perfection rather than communication. Your English thoughts don't need to be grammatically perfect. The goal is natural flow and expression, not textbook accuracy in every single thought you have.
Mistake number 8 is comparing your progress to others. Everyone develops English thinking skills at their own pace. Focus on your own journey and improvement rather than worrying about how fast other people seem to be progressing.
Mistake number 9 is giving up too quickly when it feels difficult. Like any new skill, thinking in English requires consistent practice over time. Don't abandon the process after a few challenging days or weeks of practice.
Mistake number 10 is not celebrating your progress. Notice and acknowledge when English thoughts come naturally, even if it's just for a moment. These small victories build confidence and motivation to continue developing this important skill.
Here's your challenge for this week, and I want you to commit to this because it's going to make a real difference. Choose one specific daily activity and dedicate yourself to thinking about it only in English for the next 7 days.
Make it something you do every single day without fail. It could be your morning coffee routine, your commute to work, your evening walk, or even the time you spend getting ready each morning. Pick something consistent and manageable.
For these 7 days, every time you engage in this activity, narrate it internally in English. Think about what you're doing, how you're feeling, what you're planning, all in English without any translation happening in your mind.
Don't try to make it perfect or use fancy vocabulary. Keep your English thoughts simple and natural. The goal is to create a habit of English thinking, not to impress anyone with complicated language or complex sentence structures.
Pay attention to how it feels each day. Notice if it becomes easier, if your thoughts flow more naturally, if you feel more comfortable thinking in English. This awareness will help you understand your own learning process better.
Document your experience somehow. You could write a few sentences in a journal, record a short voice note, or just make mental notes about your progress. Tracking your development helps you stay motivated and see improvement.
If you catch yourself switching back to translation mode, don't worry about it. Simply acknowledge what happened and gently guide your thoughts back to English. This redirection process is part of building the new thinking habit.
Expand gradually if you feel comfortable. If your chosen activity becomes easy to think about in English, you can start including related thoughts or extending the English thinking time a little bit each day.
Share your experience with our community. Leave a comment telling us which activity you chose and how the challenge went for you. Your story might inspire other learners who are working on developing this same skill.
Remember, this challenge is about building a foundation for thinking in English. 1 week of focused practice can create momentum that transforms how you approach the language for months and years to come.
Today, we explored how thinking in English transforms your speaking from slow and hesitant to natural and confident. We showed you that this isn't about translation, but about creating thoughts directly in English from the very beginning.
We gave you practical steps to develop this skill, from internal narration to creating English-only zones in your daily life. Remember, this process takes time and patience, but the results will revolutionize your entire English experience.
We also covered the common mistakes that hold people back, like trying to be perfect from day one or getting frustrated with the natural learning process. Your challenge this week is to pick one daily activity and think about it only in English.
If you made it this far, it's because you're serious about improving your English fluency. Hit that subscribe button and give us a like if this episode helped you understand how to think naturally in English without constant translation.
We'd love to hear from you. Tell us in the comments which daily activity you chose for your English thinking challenge this week. Your experience could inspire and help other learners in our amazing community.
If this content was valuable to you, type Think English in the comments below. This helps us know that our practical approach is working and motivates us to create more episodes just like this one for you.
Remember, every fluent English speaker had to develop this thinking skill. You're not trying to do something impossible. You're following a proven path that millions of successful learners have walked before you.
Keep practicing, stay consistent, and trust the process. We'll see you in the next episode with more practical tips to help you speak English naturally and confidently. Until then, keep thinking in English.